Hey, before we get into this episode of Sweat Equity, we're going to do the promo first. This is where our sponsors lay their eggs, and we're going to put it in the basket of Fuck Up Nights, April 21st in Tampa at the Outta Theater. It's an old school theater. Basically what Fuck Up Nights is, it's like a TEDx talk, but not as douchey. It's one of those things where entrepreneurs, small business owners, big wigs in your city, they get up and they talk about how they fucked up. We learn a lot more from failure than we do from success. How many networking events or conferences have you gone to where you just hear one guy talking about how great everything was the whole way up? I'm not interested in that. We became a sponsor as Toka Works, Tokabaga Consulting, to sponsor Fuck Up Nights in Tampa, or you can call it Fun Night if you got the Christian crowd around you. But Fun Nights, Tampa, look it up. If you want to hit me up, law at TOCOWORKS.com. I'll send you all the information. We're going to max out about 300 people. I'm going to be emceeing the event in Tampa, but if you're not in the Tampa Bay area, you can find a Fuck Up Nights around you. It is a global thing, like TEDx, just not as douchey. Let's get into it.
What's happening, everybody? Good morning, good day. How are you? This is Caleb coming at you live from the Toka Works studios in beautiful Ybor City with my co-host Law Smith.
Hey, how are we doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it feels weird being on the other side of this intro.
Yeah. If you're in your car right now, if you've got your headphones in, you're on the treadmill, you're in the office, you're probably freaking out a little bit. You're like, what the heck just happened? Mm-hmm. But Law gave me the last second finger point, and I just started rambling. So here we are. It's a beautiful morning, man, and we're just gonna dive into it. I don't know if you noticed the beginning of the episode, we got a new sponsor coming up until, when is that? Until April 21st?
April 21st, yeah.
You want to give them a little more information on the event?
Well, if they didn't skip through the first minute, I'll do it again. But it's April 21st in Tampa Heights, a Outta Theater, where entrepreneurs get up, they talk about how they fucked up, and then how they got out of that fuck up. So I saw the second Fuck Up Nights is what it's called. I saw the second one in Tampa. I saw Joey Redner from Cigar City Brewing. If you don't know, that brewery is like kind of one of the biggest in the Southeast. They've been making waves because they just sold off a part to a big VC firm. But what I loved about it was it shows humility, and it shows that, look, man, they may be the fastest growing microbrewery if you really think about it in the last 4 years, but they're still gonna fuck up.
Oh yeah,
and it actually hit more home to me because this fuck up happened with their Hunapunu Day or something like that.
Hanapu. I think it's pronounced Hanapu. I don't know for sure, but
well, they came to us. That was in 2014. They came to us in 2015. As a comedian, as Cigar City Comedy, as our group of comedians in the area, to do a video for them saying, hey, we fucked up. And,
wow.
But we couldn't get it to work out, and the time constraints and stuff. And it was cool to be asked for that, but I knew about it already. And then it was cool to see him talk about it, and then how they made up via brand loyalty, because beer nerds are excessively like, you thought like Star Wars and all that stuff, take all that anger and like, in that rage that you have and they have for Star Wars and Star Trek. I know they're two different things. It's not my world, but take that and put it in a fat dude's gullet, and like it's just like a pelican of hate coming your way if you're not ready for it.
I've been to the brewery, to Cigar City Brewery, and I've heard the guys getting into it about beers, and someone brought up another brewery while drinking in the tasting room at Cigar City, and it wasn't even like a discussion, it was like an argument.
Yeah,
I was like, is this real?
Oh yeah,
it's both good beer. Do we really care that much?
So
I guess they do.
I was immediately attracted to this event. They needed some help kind of smoothing out the edges, so I'm going to MC it.
Nice.
As a comic. I'm going to do like Benson Interruption style. because they're just like this podcast. If I'm struggling to ask a question, you can pop in and ask when we have a guest. Usually I can see you having a question and you can pop in and I'll back out where they don't, no offense to the comedian that handled it before, but he doesn't have he doesn't know the business world. He doesn't know what questions to ask,
fine. That's
even in a general kind of way. So I'm going to be up there with a live mic the whole time because there's always a PowerPoint fuck up. Always. There's always like, why isn't this remote working? So to handle those weird, kind of like,
just to kind of keep
it's a
35-second
thing of like, come on. And it's like, well, let's tell you about, them and kind of slide in something to talk about.
You could plug Sweat Equity Podcast.
Oh, I'll definitely.
In that amount of time.
Oh, I think the goal is to do Sweat Equity live for this, maybe after.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool,
because there's an open mic after if you want to get up and talk about how you fucked up.
Wow.
If you took a Toastmasters class and you feel comfortable enough to get up and just talk about your company and how you fucked up on the fly. I don't know if that's a great idea, but we're going to do it anyway. And I love uncontrolled chaos on stage. So.
I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty successful event. And plus, you guys were aiming for like that 300 mark to fill the room with. And I don't know, we've talked about the Rialto Theater a little bit before on the show. And if no one's ever been, if you have any interest in business at all, and you kind of just like being in cool creative spaces, just go. The Rialto Theater is an awesome place. Kind of leave with a bit of inspiration because it's such a neat space to be in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the people that are there, speaking are going to leave you with some inspiration as well. So it could be beneficial. If you're unsure, I would err on the side of just going and checking it out anyways.
And shout outs to, I was able to pull in, being a consultant, I have a lot of arms with a lot of different local businesses that I'm like, hey, I think these guys should get involved. So my area network heard about it. I told them about it. I was like, you guys got to get involved. This is right up your alley, especially when they're going through a rebrand, relook stage, and then Touch Vodka is another local company, distillery in the area. So it's cool. I think this thing will grow. The idea is I think it will be one of those like real kind of, right now it's kind of guerrilla style. I think it will be one of those things where we do it every month.
And I think and I know we'll get off of this 10-minute plug here in a minute, but I think those sort of things, as long as they start out being kind of true to what they are, I think they do grow into those bigger events. I think if you start an event and you aim it to grow into something bigger, you're probably more likely to fail because you lose sight of what the event's actually about. But from what I've heard about the guys that are putting it on, it's one of those things where it's as organic as really can be. Yeah,
and I was watching The Big Short last night. And
there you go.
And they try to have a meeting when the shit's hitting the fan with Bear Stearns and everybody just leaves. It's not going to be a panel like that, like stuffy at all. It's very chill. It's got more of the hipster professional vibe than anything, if I can sell it. It's in an old theater. That's like we don't have a lot of history in this town, and it's specifically at the Rialto Theater because we want a little bit of heritage, a little authenticity to this, to the city. So,
well, you were watching The Big Short. I was watching a documentary on organized noise. Okay. I don't know if a lot of people know about organized noise.
What does that mean?
Okay, organized noise is.
I'm very interested now.
So this is where I bet half the people that are still listening through that ramble on fun nights are probably going to turn this off. But I kind of want you to hear me out because it's going to segue kind of nice into what we're going to talk about today.
Don't have low self-esteem on the content.
I don't have low self-esteem. I just think people are very quick when they hear about hip hop, rap, anything that might have looked not popular or cool in high school.
Okay,
they'll be like, I'm above that. So it was a documentary. It was a rainy day here in Tampa yesterday.
I listened to Dave Matthews, man. OAR, Widespread Panic only, man. Anything you can listen to in Cork Birkenstocks, I'm down.
You're in? Yeah. Perfect. So rainy day, we're going through documentaries on like Netflix or whatever, and I'm a big documentary guy. I try to watch a documentary over a movie unless the movie truly and really is based on true stories. So anyways, we come across this organized noise. I'm like, all right, what is this? And apparently these are the guys that produced Outkast. They produced TLC, Waterfalls. They produced a lot of big records back in the 90s and even the late 80s and into the 2000s. And these guys were I was shocked at the story they had, because you're talking about guys from low-income communities with not a lot of resources who taught themselves a skill.
Yep.
And they got together, they stayed out of each other's way and really helped each other. There's 3 guys in this group, and they became revolutionary to hip hop music and R&B music in a time where there was just insane growth for the industry. And it kind of got me thinking a little bit, and I've been wanting to do an episode on acquiring a skill and how to go about acquiring a skill, and kind of what it means and how to really use it to your advantage. And I saw this documentary, and it kind of inspired me a little bit to do this episode today.
Sure.
So I was really just blown away. You've got these guys. They knew how to stay in their lane, and I thought that was really important, especially relating it to a world of being an entrepreneur these days and the business landscape that we're in with small business. You've got to know where you fit into a marketplace.
What did the 3 guys each do?
So one guy was, he was more of like with the beats and more of the drums guy, and knew kind of how to structure a beat, and what used to be good, what was good now, and what was going to become popular. And when I say good, I mean what people were really listening to and wanting in music. And he really knew how to use all the equipment as well. So he was kind of the electronics guy.
Okay.
There's another guy. He's kind of he was the financial backer of all this. He could buy the guy who would, make the beats and everything, the equipment he needed.
Yeah.
But the guy already knew somehow how to use like all this equipment, and he wouldn't even use some of it in the right ways.
Okay.
He would just go and he'd just start making beats and messing around. He'd figure it out. And then the other guy, who was Sleepy Brown, who was actually put out some music himself.
Sleepy Brown.
So it sounds
I know.
It sounds funny, because we've heard some of these guys' music, and we're like, what? And you see them in the music videos, and they just look ridiculous. But when you look at what these guys did and the opportunity they seized, it really is kind of profound. And they talk about going from living in a basement, which is the dungeon. You hear him talk about Dungeon Family and all this stuff with Outkast, to moving out to LA, and they each get like a $20 million deal. And you're just like, how in the hell did this happen?
I'll make it more contemporary, because I did a double feature with the pregnant wife last night.
There you go.
We watched The Big Short, which she had already seen twice, by the way, and she loved it so much she was down to watch it.
She loves you so much.
No, she loves it. There's no love for me.
She's like, I'm gonna watch it in the room. You watch it out here.
And then Straight Outta Compton we watched, because we never got around to going to see it in the theater. And same thing.
Yeah.
You got Dre. They're all kind of shitty kids. I mean, they're all kind of shitty people in the beginning.
Yep.
Dre's got a kid he's not really watching out for, but he's the beats guy. He's the guy that's in there. I forgot how much he produced, in a sense. Like, you think of Dre as the rapper. For our age, we think of him as a rapper. I'm 31. You're 28?
Yeah. Going on 28. I'm 27.
27.
And 3/4.
Okay. Well, I think you stopped doing the fractions after, like, 11.
Are you sure?
Unless you're 11.
I've put it on all my job applications up until my most recent job, and no one's questioned it. So I think you still do it.
If it's
no, I do a fraction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we think of him as a rapper more because the Chronic. Was the Chronic? Yeah, the Chronic was like that was the jam.
Yeah.
That whole CD back to front is awesome. So, and that's right when I was a sophomore. You were right in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's right in the wheelhouse of when you're really getting into music, and that's all you give a shit about.
Oh, yeah, you're just trying to discover like who you are, what's out there, what you can identify with.
So you got Dre as the beats guy. They have DJ Ren as well. And then you've got Eazy-E's the financial backer. There's parallels to this, to the exact crew of NWA.
No, absolutely.
You have Eazy-E, who was a financial guy in the beginning, and who became the rapper as like just come in here and try it out kind of thing. And then you had Ice Cube, who's more of the brains guy, who was the nerd. He was really like, I fell asleep watching the end of it, but I asked my wife I knew the story.
Well, once all the good stuff happens, and you see them, and it's your typical movie, right? There's the beginning, and it's funny, and they find out they've got something, and then there's success, and then there's issues and got the climax of the movie, and then we start going down, and it's kind of, you can turn it off.
A lot of unrealistic boobs is what my wife said. There's a lot of there's not a lot of 80s titties in there. They're real nice. They're way too 2015.
Yeah, they had a tough time with the boob casting.
There's no way. Yeah. How are you gonna find those titties for that role, for those extras? We paused the movie to try to figure that out.
Yeah, like, wait a second. But I think there are a lot of parallels, and I think and stick with us here because it's what we're going to hop into. But what these guys were able to do is, and I think the most amazing part with them is kind of where they came from and the resources that they didn't have rather than what they did have, and where they were still able to make it to is amazing in itself. But they were able to hone in on one thing that they could find themselves to excel at and be good at, and say, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to kind of stay out of each other's way, as a group. And that's a whole nother topic, I think, on like working as a team and, those sort of things. But there's a lot of parallels. But, so, and it kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about, and that's acquiring a skill, whether you don't think you have one, whether you do have one and you don't know what to do with it, or you need to reinvent yourself. Because I think we come to a point in our lives sometimes where whether it's a real issue we have or not, we're kind of like, man, I need to diversify what I'm able to do a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and I want this to be a little bit of a different episode. I don't want to, we typically do a format where we try to keep it like at an hour or just under. We try to do those sort of things. I'd like this episode to be more of an ongoing conversation, because I think there's a lot of people who are kind of in this place right now. I know I am. Yeah. I consider myself kind of a jack of all trades, master at nothing kind of deal. And I know there's things that I have already that I've done in my work career that I can build off of, and we can always continue to learn more and do more.
A challenge episode, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe that's how we can kind of spin it to the listeners to try to get some a little bit of feedback. And what I really want to do is just open other people's eyes out there, because I think it's a scary, scary place being trying to get into a business world or being in a business-driven world and saying, man, I don't have anything to offer in this game. And you're almost scared to raise your hand to get picked to jump in the game, because you don't know what you're able to do. But I think that everyone out there has something to offer. There's things that you've been through, whether it's in a work-related field or on a personal level, that you can adapt to. There's just so many different things out there. There's something you can cling on to and provide, and you just don't know how good you're going to be until you put in some time.
Yep.
There's a guy who I've listened to him on some different podcasts, and I've followed some of his work, some of his blog stuff, and what I'm about to tell you is the name of his book. Sounds uber ultra completely sleazy, but it's just kind of a marketing ploy to get people to.
Is it a pickup artist?
No, I think even sleazier at times. But the guy's name is Ramit Sethi, and he has a book called "I Will Teach You to Be Rich." Right, so a lot of people see that at kind of like Barnes and Noble on the shelf, or they see that in the iTunes store for the audiobooks or something, and they're like, all right, like, yeah, I want to learn to be rich, but this just sounds like this guy's just like making money off of me buying his book. And that's kind of like what's going to end up at the end of the book, being like, thanks for helping me to be rich. You bought this.
Right.
Like, you're kind of a schmuck for doing so. But he actually has some really, really good insight. And I came across an article a while back, a post that he put on his blog on how to acquire any new skill in 20 hours or less. And I just thought it was really interesting. And it's one of those things where it's kind of a hack article, right? Where like it's kind of like what's one of those sites where they try to like, it's like a BuzzFeed article or something like that, I
believe the term's listicle.
Listicle.
Yeah,
so
I hate that I know that.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. So, but they try to get you with the title and all that sort of stuff. But when you read it, there's a lot you can really take away from it. And we'll post it in the show notes on how to kind of acquire any new skill in 20 hours or less. But the point that I want to make is that you don't have to be an expert at something to acquire a skill, right? So if you can pick up video editing, for instance, if you can go out, and this is kind of what I did. I'll give you a personal example of mine. I worked in baseball for a number of years. I found myself, video was always a constant in what I was doing in baseball, filming players, whether they were amateur players, whether they were professional players, and doing some sort of scouting task with the video. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to go video, I'd have to edit, and I'd have to send that out to the general manager, the front office, the scouting directors, all these higher ups. And, I'd put some notes with it on the players, what I thought and those sort of things. But I found myself in the matter of a few months making hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds of videos, because this is literally for a period of time what I did every single day,
right.
2 to 3 baseball games a day, making videos of every player. Mm-hmm. So I went out, and when I, got done and I felt like my time was up working in the baseball industry, what can I go do that I'm passionate about,
right.
but that I have a skill in?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, well, I know how to shoot video and I know how to scout players, and all right, I'm going to go do that. And that's what I've slowly built a business off of, which has become the scouting blog,
right.
doing that for amateur players to gain exposure to college coaches. So it's kind of one of those things where when you just sit down and you kind of look back at what you've done this far, Law's talking about he's in his early 30s, I'm in my late 20s. We are by no means going to be considered experts at what we do with the age that we are. But I think that we can still provide that expert level of service with that skill.
It's always an audition.
Yep.
I'm better. I know I'm better than most consultants that are in our field. I know it. It's not cocky. It just is at a certain point.
Well, and I think we're gonna be proving ourselves our whole lives.
Right. But yeah, I want that. I in a weird way, you kind of want to be like, fuck you. Let me show you what I can do.
Yeah.
Because to me, spite is a good motivator. It's always been a good motivator.
I use spite even when I'm not feel like I'm being like confronted or doubted.
Yeah.
It's always something where I just you want to show up. You want to show up. You want to produce. It's got to be in you.
It's the former athletes. I was going to say athletes, but former athletes in both of us. It's one of those things where it's like, I'll show you. Yeah. And I'll sit out here and I'll work until I get it done. The thing with what you're doing with video, talk about going from doing physical activity with baseball, and that's kind of being your life, mm-hmm. to sitting down and almost becoming the opposite. It's you sit in a chair, you have to get pumped about hard cuts.
Yep.
And to people that think video editing's really easy now because it's on your phone and you can do iMovie on your phone, yeah, that's fine. It'll get easier.
Well, that's like, all right, if you want to make a Vine, if you want to make, you can, and let's not get, this is I'm just going to throw out one of my pet peeves because I got to let it out or it's going to build. And that's when you like end up with a charge and in handcuffs. Mm-hmm. I can't stand when I see people be like, check out my new video, and it's a slideshow of photos with music behind it.
Right.
And I just want to let you know it's not video.
That's not.
So we're just gonna throw that out there for everybody.
Technically, it might be because a video is like a really fast reel of photos at 60 meters per second or whatever.
I can't give it to him.
60 frames per second.
But
that's slow-mo, I think.
Well, there was this one company. So for the scouting block, I reach out to a lot of like travel teams, and I go on their websites and just judge the crap out of what they have website wise and any videos at all on their site, which a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in. So that's a good sign for me. And one of them was like, check out this guy's recruiting video, and it's just a bunch of photos of this kid pitching. And it's just photos.
It's going to be tough to
They're
scout.
not even like in sequence of anything. It's just like him with a trophy, him carrying his bag and like staring at a sunset on a field. I'm like, he looks like he's a hell of a player. Like, that's great.
It's funny. It probably works to a degree, but not as well. Not as well, but I'm saying like there are dumb people that are like, cool, look at that trophy.
Yeah, but they're
not baseball scouts.
No, that's the thing. They're like
other parents.
Exactly. They're like other parents.
Yeah, I think video editing is really tough, and it's weird. I see it's going to get simplified because every small business, medium business is going to have their own custom video. So someone's going to figure out how to simplify it, mm-hmm. which you may find along the way. Like I tell everybody, like, I wasn't born, like, this wasn't a destiny calling. I kind of just got my personality weaved into this consulting world, and you weren't born to do video editing, but you found it. And I'll paraphrase from Big Boy from Outkast, because I heard him I can't remember if it was like Cribs or something. It was a long time ago. It was 15 years ago probably. But he's like, business 101. Find a vulnerability and just go at it.
Yep.
And you're finding there's a niche that no one's really doing.
Yeah.
Now, is it like baseball is your passion? You know, if you had your druthers, you'd like to be a GM, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's kind of like the generic answer for a lot of people. You know, if this turns into a Caleb interview, I'll go deeper into that.
I'll hijack this. But I think and interview you. But
and that's not necessarily the point. But I think that. I think you're right. I think what you just said, though, can kind of sum up this episode a little bit. Where
I was circling around.
We're not born like a lot of us. There isn't this. I'm trying to think of the right word. Yeah, like there's none of this like divine like divinity that it's like, man, this kid was born to edit video, and it's like that's not a thing. But when you find yourself in the right place at the right time with the right skill and knowledge,
right.
Why not try to make something take off? Why not try to make something happen if everything else lines up?
Well, and it's about being malleable. Look, you didn't go to school to do this. You taught yourself.
Exactly.
And like I've taught myself almost everything. Now I seek out good people to be my nautical beacons. I'm borrowing this metaphor from Bert Kreischer. Check out the Bert cast if you like him.
The machine.
And but he talks about having nautical beacons and these people in his life that keep him in between, that keep him in the space that he needs to drive forward.
Yep.
And I do that with when I learned Facebook advertising. My buddy Paul Pasquale showed me everything.
Yeah.
But he was only going to show me a certain amount. At a certain point, I had to teach myself.
Exactly.
And it's almost selfish now that people freak out and don't look. Now I'm going to get on a real jag, but like it's almost selfish that when you really want to do something that you're not going to seek it out yourself. Everybody has the tools available.
Yeah.
We don't realize how lucky we are that I was watching Straight Outta Compton. And it's like, oh shit, you can't just go online and go, how do I work a turntable? Trial and error, like you were saying with organized noise.
Yeah.
You just had to fucking figure it out.
Exactly.
How did I start this podcast? You know how hard it is to find a guide on a mixer? It's almost impossible because it's either way too simple or it's an audio nerd that is talking in a language that he might as well work at NASA. So I just had to trial and error until I figured it out by myself. And that was 5 years ago.
And I think that's what people you just need to be willing to put that in. And this isn't an episode where it's like, we're going to teach you how to quit your job today and start making money with your own business. Like, that's not what this episode is. This is to even help you stand out more if you work for a company.
Yeah.
Something that you can, specialization is everything right now. And we've really talked about it on the podcast in previous episodes, but we'll kind of touch on it again. People aren't really going to the one-stop shops anymore.
Nope.
You're not going to get your hair cut where you can get your oil changed. You know what I mean? People want a watch, they buy it from a watch company. People want boots, they buy it from a boot company. That's why these specialization companies that are popping up, a lot of them are small businesses because the company that makes selvage denim jeans out of Austin, Texas is probably thriving right now. Because people who want denim want this certain kind of denim that's handmade and that it's done a certain way.
I'll give you a real one. Hold Your Haunches out of Macon, Georgia. We've been watching a lot of Shark Tank lately.
No, yeah, but go on.
It's like I think it was an ass improver kind of pants or something like that, and they're out of Macon, and I can't remember which shark made the deal, but it was one of those ones where my wife was watching it. It was like, oh, that one. I knew that one was going to take off, and they went from 165,000 in sales to 1.3 million in a year after being on the show.
That's amazing.
I think it was the two women on the show. I forget both their names.
I don't know their names either.
But and they basically did it out of spite of the men on the show, because anytime a female product comes on, they zone out.
Yep. Because
they go, I don't know this. And so even on a macro scale like that, you could see it. But long story boring, like that they were able. They're in Macon. They're not in like a real metropolitan city.
Yeah.
But they're specializing in something that no one else is doing.
Exactly.
Like Spanx that started in Tampa.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm wearing my dick Spanx. Sometimes it's too big.
Oddly enough, we also did a double feature yesterday, and we watched Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
So that the dick reference.
Okay.
I got Mark Wahlberg in my head. It's just
yeah. Well, is fake, but
Well, yeah.
well, some people think it's real.
Gabby did, and we had to have a real like sit down,
Your-
heart-to-heart conversation.
Gabby, your
about it.
fiance.
Yeah, my fiance did, and she was like, "You finally see it," and I'm like, "That's not it, dude.
That's
Like,
not
don't
it. It's
think
prosthetic."
you've seen Marky Mark's junk. Like,
So
take it easy."
So basically, they challenged themselves to figure out that niche. And were they born to make hold your haunches? No, but they saw. It's a silly name too, but it's one of those things where they weren't predestined to make better fitting pants, but they just go,
Yeah.
hey, here's a need a lot of women do want. And it's not necessarily a primary need like water or air, but it is something that a lot of women do want, and we see that.
Yeah.
And we're going to expose it, and we're going to make a business out of it.
And there was kind of one of the things, when we were talking about this episode, weeks, almost months in advance, because we do such a tedious prep work for this show to bring you guys the most quality information possible. It was a few months back when we were talking about it. And we were kind of saying, look at banks, for instance. There's tons of companies out there that are banks, and they're getting pummeled right now. A lot of these smaller players in the game are getting pummeled because a lot of the money now is in a subset of what banks do.
Yeah.
They're now in helping you manage your money, not just holding it for you and charging you maintenance fees. They're in how to get, I don't know if anyone out there uses Venmo. I'm a huge Venmo user. Or, if you're a college kid in the Southeast, you probably use a company called Tilt. Tilt is the very similar application to Venmo.
Okay.
But it makes transferring money so simple, so easy. There's no headaches to it.
You want the big word for this? For what these companies are doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just like the Uber of banking?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's where you're probably going.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the Uber of renting houses is Airbnb.
Yeah.
For Scouting Block, you're the opposite.
Right.
You're intermediation. You're creating an intermediary that doesn't exist currently.
Right.
That needs to exist. Disintermediation is when someone says the Uber of something, if you want to sound smarter, you say it's the disintermediation of.
Write this down, guys.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I read this about Airbnb and Uber, and instead of saying they're the Uber of, because it's a weak metaphor. It's quick if you're like at a bar and you need to say something really quick.
Yeah, and you're getting your point across, right.
But it's disintermediation. We're taking a bunch of bullshit out that doesn't need to exist.
Yes.
In a marketplace that does. Banking is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Banking's fucked. Like, they don't realize how fucked they are.
It's outdated. And even with the mobile app and all this kind of stuff, banking is truly outdated, that to the point that we even need cash now, that I have to drive to an ATM. Right. I mean, and I'm saying this as a first world spoiled brat.
Sure.
But in a world that we're talking about getting things done in the touch of a button, that I now have to go out of my way, find a branch ATM,
right,
so I don't get charged $2.50 for taking my own money out of my account. Find a branch ATM, go to it, get that money, drop that money off at wherever it needs to be dropped off, to a person or a place, whatever. If I'm buying something or I'm paying someone, a fantasy football league or something like that. I mean,
now you don't even have to do fantasy through that. They have their own system.
Yeah, and I mean, what these kind of these subspecialty companies have come in and done off of an industry, it's proving just so much that it's not, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to get in with these big companies, big corporations, and go to battle with them. You can find what they're not providing, and you can either go start that or be a part of a company that is.
Well, I mean, you can make a case Bitcoin is both. It's both. It's both the thing that doesn't exist. It makes money more global.
It's also it's also magic.
It's going to be the stepping stone. It's like getting the weed. All right. It's like getting your marijuana vote for medicinal.
Yeah.
In order to get to the point where you can get recreational, which is what a lot of states have to do.
Like here in Tampa, they just recently decriminalized the open marijuana.
That doesn't mean you can walk around with a bunch of weed. It just means you don't get arrested harshly. A lot of people misconstrue that. But I heard Joe Mandy, a comedian. I had to.
LaCroix boys.
Oh, you know him? Okay, one of the best.
Guys got me hooked on life, man.
I got to open for him in Atlanta. I say open. I mean, I think I just got shuffled right before him when he was headlining at the Laughing Skull. But he was a really cool guy because I knew who he was, And I like kind of fanboyed out because he's a writer for Parks and Rec, which was one of my favorite shows ever.
Best show that ever got on the air.
The writing's so good. He's a fucking brilliant writer on Twitter if you ever follow him. And the LaCroix Boys is like his thing. But we had a really strange conversation. Not strange in the sense that most stuff you talk about is comedy based, or we were talking about like he was like, fuck this, fuck banks. I'm putting all my money in God damn it now.
Bitcoin?
No. What's the big bank that you can take money out from anywhere? It's online.
Oh, I haven't heard
like
about
Aura.
this.
No, God damn it. They had commercials for a while. Anyway, I'll figure it out. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the post. But Joe Mandy kind of said, look, the whole system's fucked. You can't. I'm going to put it in this because I can just pull money out of any ATM and it doesn't matter. The fees are bullshit.
Yeah.
They've been making money off of that forever.
I mean, if you're with Bank of America and you have like a certain checking account, you have a $12 maintenance fee like every month or something, every quarter. And it's like, maintenance on what, dude? Like, this is ridiculous.
And you see Louis C.K.'s one of the reasons I love him, and he became my favorite stand-up 15 years ago, was someone showed me his half-hour special, and he talks about if you have money, if you don't have money, they take money out.
Yeah.
I had $15. I'm gonna not do the bit justice, but he's like, I had $15. You can't get $15 out. It's only 20s.
Yeah.
At the time, he's like, I just have $15 sitting there, and they're like, sir, could you have under gross funds? And he was like, I'd say it's severely gross. Like, and then they docked him $20, so he had -5 in his account. And he goes, I had no money. I didn't have. I needed $5 to have zero money. It's one of the best bits of all time.
I mean, but that's really what we're looking at.
And then they talk about like, if you have money, they'll give you more money.
Yeah.
The bank will go, oh, let me just take this $5 from this asshole over here and put it, give it to you. So that system's very flawed from the get-go, but you couldn't do anything because of no transparency.
Yep.
Lack of communication. We have the internet now. We have something like this where we can sit on a soapbox and talk about it. And now accountability. That's going to be the other part.
Yeah.
This is going to weave back into what we're telling you about the skill. We want y'all to keep us accountable. So we'll throw a challenge out for us. But I want people to hit us up, put it on the comments when we post the episode, or hit us up, put it on the comments on the web blog post on the Toko Works post, and then or anywhere, or you can email us, or you can tweet at me, or you can do whatever. But however you want to get a hold of us and say, I want to do this as a challenge to learn a skill. Yep, I'm going to throw it out there. I'll throw one out there first, because we didn't really say we were going to do this. So before we started. But months
back.
I talked about this yesterday. I met up with some friends for a few beers, and we talked about I don't want to get credit for this statement because we haven't done anything yet. Right. The worst is when someone goes, I'm going to be an EDM DJ, gosh. And everyone's like, buy him a round of shots. Yep. He hasn't done fuck all.
No,
so,
nothing.
I go, do not give me credit for this, but this is a goal I'm going to try to figure out. And this could take a couple of years, but there is a skill involved in this, and we want to pitch a reality show about doing this consulting work. Yeah. And maybe we have to make my wife a character in it. But just for contrast,
if we can get Mandy on board, I think we're going to be good.
Oh, if Joe,
if you're listening,
please. But what I was going to say is I have a friend that used to work in a reality show producing. I look at all these reality shows that have consultants. None of them are funny at all. Yeah. John Taffer's funny in a different way because he just yells. But I wanted something that actually had a sense of humor. We're coming at it from a different position where we are a small business consultant, if not even micro and local and startup. So in Florida too, which I think puts a little bit of extra flavor in it.
And I don't want to completely interrupt you. Go back to that, but that right there, what you just said, I don't want people to run away from it. I think that's what people do. Yeah. They hear micro, they hear small, they hear all these sort of things. That is not to be underestimated. That is not to be looked at as a bad thing.
I say girthy sometimes instead.
Girthy.
Because it has a small has a connotation.
Okay.
We live in a phallic society. Just think about that. So I say, look, instead of micro, say I'm girthy. I'm a girthy business.
We're girthy.
That's what I'm gonna. Yeah, the sweat equity of our business is girth. So anyway, I want to get to the point where we can actually pitch to a real something. If it's a YouTube channel that produces stuff, I'm cool with that. I just think to get our reach out there, it's a long-term marketing goal if you really think about it.
Yeah.
If we're on CNBC as one of the shows they have, that hits for us. That's huge. So I'm going to work on that. That's my challenge. I need to figure out how to pitch, and there's an art to pitching.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of comedian podcasts.
Presenting to win. I'll recommend that to you.
Okay, presenting to win.
Presenting to win.
All right, your challenge.
So I just want my challenge to be that if anyone is out there listening that has acquired a skill in the past, has kind of been put in the position where you've reinvented yourself, or you've kind of just sat down and said, man, what am I good at? What can I, or not even what I'm good at, what can I do? What can I do and look into a little bit further and investigate? And that's something that you've either made, your business, or you started your small business with, or that you've gone into your current job at work and you've kind of built yourself up from that and saying, hey, by the way, I want to let you know I've taught myself computer coding. And I'd like to kind of work on the back end and with the IT department a little bit. And you've kind of made yourself more valuable because you're providing more for your company. If anyone's ever done that and had that sort of experience, reach out to us. We want to hear, we want to hear it. We don't have to have you on the air or anything, but in the comment section below the podcast, whether it's on the Facebook page or on the website or even on Instagram, just give people some insight to kind of what you did, how you went about it, and kind of the journey of acquiring that new skill or branching out from the skill you already had into taking that step to furthering it.
What's the challenge though? What skill do you want to learn in the next month?
Man, yeah, I haven't, like I said, in the past few months, we've been talking about this episode. I haven't come out with one.
I can throw some stuff.
Give me one. You challenge me.
You've already kind of, I don't know if it counts as a skill necessarily, but you've been working diligently on nutrition.
Yeah.
And energy-wise.
Yeah. And
how much weight have you lost recently?
I think I'm down 15. It could be 16 by the time I go home and weigh myself. But
now that
as of this morning, it's 15.
Now that sounds like a light task, and I'll tell you why weight loss and staying fit is kind of the hardest, because this is why people have a hard time with it, because you have to eat.
Yeah.
And like you can not drink for sure. I mean, unless you're white, unless you have real issues. But if you're like me, who likes to drink casually, I can just not drink. Yeah, I don't have to.
Which is still tough, but
right. But I don't have to booze. Yeah, you have to eat. Yeah, that's what makes it really.
Oh, we're talking about survival. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's discipline.
Yep,
it's an insane discipline. So, I'd say your challenge, or you're acquiring a skill. Maybe it's to learn more about your energy level, because. We talk about time as a commodity for everybody. We don't live to 180, maybe 80 if we're lucky.
Time is it, man. Time is it's what the richest people in the world are trying to get more of, and it's what we're all trying to delegate and kind of divide up so that we can end up doing some of the things in this life that we love doing.
So maybe it's being like a quasi nutritionist.
Yeah, I mean, I've approached, so this 15 pounds that I've lost so far, I've kind of approached almost as like an ambush, but it's more of, and that's the opposite of what people will tell you, right? They'll say, just cut out certain things and just don't eat, dessert, don't eat bread, cut out soda, and I've done those things, but I know my personality,
right? And
I kind of, I'm a bit of an extremist when I'm into something. I'm really into it.
Yeah,
like if I want to play guitar, I don't just go and
there's one right over there and you haven't touched it in
a few months. Yeah, a few months now, because I'm off the guitar thing. Okay, but when I was playing, I mean, you'd walk in and you'd be like, can you please shut the hell up? Like, because that's all I wanted to do was play, and that's all I'd look at. That's
having
the music I'd
in
listen
the room
to.
Is a kiss of death, because it's gonna get played.
It's terrible. But so I'm an extremist, and when I started doing this a few weeks ago. I'm trying to get in shape for the wedding coming up.
Mhm.
It's in, it's 6-7 months away. And it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, like I won't drink soda. I won't eat carbs. I'll eat, carbs, but the good carbs, the vegetables, those sort of things, meats,
Yeah.
everything, a lot of things have carbs in them, the majority of things.
You're getting rid of sugar.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of any added sugar. So I'm not sitting there eating candy. If there's any sugar that's in, I don't really eat that many fruits. I mainly eat meat and vegetables.
Uh-huh.
But if I do have, half of an apple or some strawberries, like my body knows what to do with that sugar and how to break it down. But I've kind of gone like a lot of people would start a diet and they wouldn't go kind of this hardcore.
Right.
But I think I know myself, I have to do that in order to do this long term.
Yeah.
It's almost cold turkey, but not necessarily. I'm not eating anything.
But you can eat cold turkey.
I eat a lot of cold turkey.
See?
That's like the number one thing I eat. So
see, we thought we were gonna have a short episode. We went the whole
Lord.
gamut for it.
yeah.
So take a challenge, throw it at us. I'll help close this out unless you got anything else.
No. I really want to urge people that I hope you've made it this far through this episode and that you can kind of lend a hand to some people who may be stuck. And maybe trying to figure out what am I good at and how to figure that out, because I think we all have skills, and if we don't, we can all definitely learn new ones, and don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to explore.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the Matrix where you feel like you got to upload it immediately. Acquiring the skill is something that goes, I'm going to take an hour a week maybe for 20 weeks and learn, I need to learn website design a lot better. Like I need to learn more of the ROI values, those value propositions, because I'm having more meetings about that. And so that's something I'm working on, my continuous education, where I'm breaking out time to make sure I can study up and also make our company better.
Yeah.
I think my new thing, did I tell you this? My new thing is to take Wednesdays and I might just not answer any emails.
Yeah.
And just focus on us.
Yeah.
That's going to be my new thing.
I responded on Wednesday to that text, and you didn't say anything back.
I was probably out of my gourd.
Yeah.
Freaking
so
out.
I was like, all right, he started already. Perfect. Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sweat Equity Podcast. Tell a friend, tell a loved one, a coworker, boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe that guy or girl you just want to talk to. You don't know how to know how to have the conversation.
Just blurt it out.
You're in business school with them. You don't know. Hey,
Kimberly, Sweat Equity.
You should start talking. You know what was cool? Someone told me they heard about our podcast. I'd never met them.
Mm-hmm.
They heard about it. We had a meeting, and they were like, "Someone told me to listen to your podcast," and we had just met. It was really cool. So
you're like, yeah, that was me. You were drunk.
No, I love it. That tickled me pink. That's the best. That means y'all are the people that we don't have a huge audience. I think we're cusping on about 1,000 people listening to each episode. Yeah. But it is one of those things where, help us get a little bit further. Maybe we can get my new man crush, Gary Vujicic. What's that guy's name?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I've been following him on social media. Oh, awesome guy.
He's who I want to be, basically. But he, we can get cool guys like that. We might be able to get them if we just work hard enough to try to get them.
Yeah, and we've got some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. So if you're tired of listening to me and Law blab back and forth, hopefully you've gotten a little bit out of this episode. But we've got some really good stuff coming up in the next few weeks, and we're just glad you guys are along for the ride with us.
Yeah, surround yourself with good people. Throw away the turkeys, soar with the eagles, and challenge yourself to a new skill.
Unless it's cold turkey.
Boom.